What's good, what's poppin', what's here, what it is, what it do, what's up? My name is Lindo, yes, and you are here at Drop the Mic.
My name is Marquise Riley. I am your other co-host for today, and we are ready for final rounds. If you've been joining us so far, you've seen our contestants from our Northeast campus, our Northeast Regional Campus, NERC, our Center of Advanced Technology, our Center for Advanced Technology, Career technology. Yeah, there we go. Career technology. There we go. CATSI, as well as main campus in the Black Box Studio. But today we are here at the Great Hall at CCP to give you the final 12 contestants on final stage. Give it up for all of our contestants. So as Lindo said, we have our final 12. They will be performing original works, 2 original works. We have 2 rounds. We 2 original works a cappella with no musical accompaniment or props.
No props.
Of 3 minutes. They have a time limit of 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
3 minutes, 15 seconds.
They will, when they get up here, they'll briefly introduce themselves. Maybe or they might get in their poem. Either way, what you're going to get today is the next tier of what you got in the audition shows. So, it's, you ready to get started?
Yes, I am ready to get started.
You know what?
And so, go ahead.
You know what? No, because I forgot something. So one more thing. You at home, I know you're going to be raucous. I know you're going to enjoy everything, but we also have some people in the studio audience. And so you're going to hear the poems, but you're also going to hear a few other things. So if the people in the studio audience are hearing something that they feel, you might hear some snaps in the background. You might hear some you might hear some yes, or a sturdy yeah. But just know that this is an energy show. So what the contestants give to you, you will give to them, and it's going to be a great experience. But you already saw that from our audition shows. So
I'm going to introduce the reason why we're here, the organizer that organized the community college of Philadelphia around spoken word, one half of Yellow Rage, also the Lindback T-shirt Award recipient of 2024 for doing this exact work, and also appeared on the historical Deaf Poetry Jam. Can we give a big round of applause for the reason and one of the founders of Drop the Mic, Michelle Myers, Dr. Michelle Myers. Woo!
Thank you so much for that introduction, Lindo. So thank you, Marquise. I'm so blessed to be here today. I'm super excited. So I am Dr. Michelle Myers. I'm an associate professor in the English department here at Community College of Philadelphia. I am also the faculty coordinator for Drop the Mic and one of the co-creators. And at this time, I also want to give a shout out to the other co-creator who I was hoping would be able to be here today, but he wasn't. And so I just want to give it up for Alan Kobernick, who retired from CCP a couple of years ago, who helped me to envision the show, and who also believed in the vision that I had, and also who believed in our students here at Community College of Philadelphia. And so I just wanted to be able to acknowledge Alan Kobernick. And then I also want to give a shout out to our DJ Corey Martin, AKA Corey Delaney, the director for the Center for Male Engagement. Yes, please give it up for him for being here today, all right? And I'm also very excited to have a really wonderful panel of judges here for the first round of the final showcase of Drop the Mic. And so sitting next to me is Alicia Dantzler. Please give it up for Alicia. Alicia is someone who is very close to my heart. She's been a part of the spoken word poetry family with me when she started here as a student, and so she is alumni of Community College of Philadelphia. She has her associate's degree and her bachelor's degree in behavioral health. Please give it up for being a graduate of Community College of Philadelphia. She's also getting her master's degree, and she is an ABA therapist who works with children with disabilities. Give it up one more time for Alicia Dantzler. And next to Alicia, we have Professor Seve Torres. Please give it up for Professor Torres. He's an assistant professor in the English department, and he is also the assistant chair for the Literature and Creative Writing program. So one more time for Professor Torres. And next to Professor Torres, we have Dr. David Thomas. Please give it up for Dr. Thomas. He is the Vice President of Strategic Initiatives and Community Engagement. He is also the manager of the music department's Spring Garden Records, which is the official record label of Community College of Philadelphia. And we are super grateful to Dr. Thomas, as well as Paul Geisinger, who is the head of the music department and also the director of Spring Garden Records, for being so generous to offer the grand prize for our winner for Drop the Mic, which is 3 hours of free studio time in Spring Garden Records, working with all of our wonderful technicians in the studio and, hopefully being able to put something together for you guys as far as your recordings. So one more time for Dr. Thomas. We're so grateful. And then I'll send it back to Marquise and Lindo.
This is the part where we light a fire, we see how flames ignited, and we allow people to drop the mic on stage. We're going to introduce our first contestant, who will be competing amongst 12 other individuals that are poets, MCs, actors, and just talented creatives in all the ways that we can think of. These are the producers of culture, and we're excited to be here today. So who is our first contestant?
So on deck, we have Mel Love, but coming to the stage first, give it up for Nam Kid.
Okay, hello. I just want to give a quick warning that this poem is about rape and also sexual assault and other things of that nature. I will now start. Nobody cared for the crying girl. Not when she yelled rape, not when she cut open her rib cage trying to feed a man that resembled her father. They didn't care when she dressed in lingerie, being misguided. They cared for what she could do for them, the toy she could be, and when she wasn't, they yelled the girl who cried wolf, the girl who cried rape, who asked for it, stripping away her skin like clothing, the pounds dropping like the sweat dripping off her body after an overdose, the Vogue model that sung beauty hurts, surgery covering any irreversible damages, the Lolita who cried wolf when the photos were taken to show an art, not the age of consent, the misguided understanding its purpose, the misinterpretation of being a Lolita with being a Lolita, the fashion taking the purity, no, the purity taking the fashion being misinterpreted, the child that played being looked on, the girl who cried wolf, to been said to be the wolf in sheep's clothing, when the color black never touched her skin, only ever inserting itself inside her, killing the girl who cried wolf, becoming the girl who cried rape, the one who only says a yes or a no or a hot lash to the face if you came too close. She's pretty, mature, smart for her age. She's only 16, but the wolf has made her age by decades in time when the Vogue model sung Pretty Hurts. She wasn't speaking of the photos made to be art, the art being made to show little girls, the little girls that weren't of age. To no longer yell she was raped, no longer the girl who cried, never uttering the name of any wolf, the soul being stripped away with her innocence. She shifts back to the moment. She's present, returning to her body that's only been hers ever so recently. It was a tale, a horrible tale. The girl who cried rape never existed, neither did she. After all, whoever believed the girl who cried rape. That's it.
Keep it going for Nam Kid. First poet of final round, first poem. How you feeling?
I'm okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see how the judges are feeling, starting off with Dr. Michelle Myers.
Nam Kit, this was such a powerful poem, and I appreciated so much you bringing this poem into the space, right? And having us be present. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. It was a very emotional poem, and I want to say, since I am getting emotional, that you did a wonderful job of, even though you were reading off your phone, it didn't sound like you were reading off your phone, right? You were still very present with us, and we could feel the emotion in your words as you were delivering the lines from this piece. And I have to say that even from the very first line, nobody cared for the crying girl. And then, that becomes a motif through the entire poem, and how you flip that around was really very masterful, right? The girl who cried wolf, right? And then you talk about the wolves in sheep clothing, and then at the very end, the girl who cried, right? So the way you flip that around from the very beginning of the poem to the end of the poem, again, was very, very masterful. You had so many wonderful similes and metaphors and imagery in this poem, all serving to put forth this message, right, and having us understand what this young girl is going through that you're talking about in this poem. So I just want to thank you so much for your very powerful poem.
I feel like your tone was really good and on point. I really enjoyed the repetition that you had because it was purposeful in how you placed it. And I was wondering when, you switched it up, what you answered by coming back to, and I feel like that was something that you did. So if it was like a line that you're thinking about, so where you said "Sung Beauty Hurts," you brought that back to "Pretty Hurts." I thought that was a reference to it, but you made it clear that's like, and you did that a few times so I think it's, you have some intricate lines, but you also make sure to make it clear and come back to clarify, this is exactly what I mean. So I think you did a really good job on this poem and your presentation of the poem.
Absolutely. No, I think the way that the syllables work together was really good. I thought that in many ways you took us through something that was challenging, right? But also that, that, again, as you said, returning to the body, right? And I feel, again, that the delivery really echoes the fact that you were in your body, that you were present in the poem as well. So I really do appreciate that. It was a great poem. Thank you.
Yes. No, I'm kidding. It was extremely powerful, and I think you delivered it skillfully. The lyrics speak volumes, right? And very often, you don't know who's in the audience when you're sharing your poem. It was amazing. I have some advice for you. I think if you would potentially maybe slow it down a little bit and take a look at the folks in the audience, I think it would capture people even more so. Yeah. But you did an amazing job. Thank you.
All right, give it up one more time for Tom Kidd.
I think overall my performance went well, but I do think like I was given advice for look up and pace myself better since I know I sped through it because I wasn't sure how to space my poem. Usually I do that, like I prepare my poems and I space the words out since I read, but this time I feel like I didn't space it out and so I didn't take as many breaks as I'm supposed to. I also didn't look up at the audience like once or maybe I probably looked up at them once, but I think the judges liked it. I think those little things could have helped to make it a better performance.
Y'all ready for your next poem? Let me hear you say yeah. Yeah. Let me hear you say yeah. Yeah. On deck we have Haley, but coming up next, give it up for Mel Love.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I wrote and choreographed a rap/poem about for CCP faculty staff. So, hope y'all enjoy it. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. This is the story all about how CCP got twisted upside down. So sit back down in those plastic chairs. Let me tell you how CCP faculty staff is just not fair, and always fair too. You got security always directing the way. The president always have something to say about our talents and ways, math, art, English, and science too. But we all know that shit is true. What they do, they hire grades like all the time. If we don't pass the shit, then we lose our mind. Let's stop wasting valuable time. You got financial aid, making sure our courses are paid. Scholarships, loans, financial support, not today but tomorrow. Why are students not taking advantage of this shit? We need to turn around and rethink real quick. Now professors helping us out if we make a mistake. When students think we got brains as big as a house, when it's time to scrap, we look like a mouse, trying to fight our way out of a paper bag, all the skills we wish we had. Now counseling and tutoring, helping us win. If the yell is true, just disregard. Why? Because they are true source indeed. All they want you to do, please, is stop, but not today. We're going to make them work for the weekly pay. Now, single stop department, who's sweet like a poodle but a tiger inside. They offer CCP communities to stay strong and have pride, so follow the motive. And I made a choreographed acronym: pride, resilient, intellectual determination, equity, and collaborating communities, powerful success.
How you feel?
Kind of was nervous a little bit, but I feel like it was there. It was a better flow, you know.
Well, that's interesting because behind the scene, the studio audience know you as a poet, but also a magician, and you don't seem as nervous when you're doing magic. Are you nervous when you're doing magic?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, let's see. Did you leave with some magical moments for our judges here? We're going to start off with Alicia.
I would just say, because I did see you in prior rounds, and I see how you were able to connect with the audience, just take your time, give yourself some grace, step up to the mic a little bit so we can hear you and catch every word, because we want to be able to hear each line and hear each rhyme and punchline so we like full on get the message that you're trying to give. I always love your energy. You always come with good energy and a big smile, so I'm always thank you for presenting your poetry and rap to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I like to call back to the original song. I thought that was good. And again, I like the energy and the way that the rhymes work together to create, a connected piece. So thank you. I appreciate it.
What can I add to that? So first of all, your smile is always infectious, and I really, really do appreciate that. Folks, if you were nervous, we couldn't tell by your smile. Absolutely. You seem really, really at home in your skin when you do this. I always love a good rap, particularly when it starts off with a little reminiscence of Philadelphia. So we like that. That's right. I know. I picked it up. I don't know if you're from West Philly, but there you are from West Philly. There you go. I think the only thing I would add is, in addition to like slowing down and taking your time a little bit, those moves, because I saw you wanting to move a little bit, feel free. Do that. Thank you.
And Dr. Myers.
Yeah, I agree with what my fellow judges have said. Mel Love, it is always a joy to see you on stage, behind the mic, performing. You always have such wonderful energy, and I thought this was a really fun poem/rap that you did, right? And definitely, I again agree with my fellow judges. The callback to the throwback, right, was also really fun, and it just seemed like, you were enjoying it, and I also appreciated the play that you did, on this particular piece in terms of celebrating CCP, and giving a shout out to the wonderful people who work here, right? The departments and the programs and the staff and the faculty, and, being appreciative as a student, right, for everything that CCP has offered to you. And so I just really am grateful to you for sharing this piece. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I just want to share, my next go around, I feel like it's going to be to the T, and hopefully I make it to, top notch. But if I don't, I congratulate whoever makes it there. So good luck to them, and good luck to myself.
Our studio audience were locked in by the words. They was like, we're not going to miss a single word. On deck, we have Lil Rock, but coming to the stage, we have Haley. Give Haley a round of applause as they make it up to the stage.
This poem is titled, They Always Ask the Same Questions. Yesterday, I spent my days in a childlike daze, laughter at the glittering world around me, wonder at learning to ride a bike. Tomorrow, I will say my goodbye, signing the seal of life. I hope tomorrow is far away, but years are just seconds when looking into the past, and my future is lined with the rose-golden glow of death. I still have time, I plead. As a child, I scribbled on the paper, a messy crayon recreation of life. Now I write into these poems a perfect picture framed in my mind with neat little rows. But I always tell myself the same lies. I pretend that there is a hard ending in the never ending, that there will be a point in which I stand that I will no longer feel the need to move to the next goal, to the next dream, to the next step. Because each step feels like a mountain, but each mountain is just a hill. And I always tell myself that this one will be the last. And then finally at the top, the crests are so small when you stare at the sun. And the moon is shadowed by what is still to come. And so I climb again, this cliff, feeling like the last, thinking that it'll be the end, that after this I will plateau, that I can't change, can't grow. Once I am done with this climb, I reach the peak. The stars still feel so far away. Now what? Thank you.
Keep it going for Haley. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. All right, first round of final stage. How you feeling?
Feeling good?
You feeling good? I just want to take the moment to say that if you were tuning in, for the other audition shows, we don't know what Haley looks like. So, when we get through this, I don't know if we at the end, even if Haley wins, just like a quick unmask. I don't know. All right. To our judges, we'll start off with Professor Torres.
Sounds good. I appreciated the wordplay in the poem, but I also thought that the hand movements and the choreography that you had worked really well to highlight and emphasize a lot of the points. And I can relate with the idea of being at a plateau and concerned with growth and thinking, is there something beyond? How do I get to that goal? I don't think that ever ends. So I think you captured that really well. So thank you for your poem.
Haley, how you feeling?
Good.
Good? You were amazing.
Thank you.
I jotted down a few things. I'm going to read them to you. So I said that your movement, eye contact, voice inflection, and your emotion drew in the listener, right? The cadence that you used, I didn't even realize you had a piece of paper in your hand. And that really shows that you engaged the audience in a way that drew us into what you were saying and what you were feeling when you were saying it. An amazing delivery, so great job.
Thank you.
Yes, I also agree that it was a really wonderful delivery. I also think that as far as the content of the piece, I found it to be very, very interesting, very intriguing, and I love that it centered on this aspect of self-purpose and trying to understand what one's self-purpose is. I mean, and dealing with people who are constantly questioning, right, what you're deciding that your purpose is, right? So the title of this poem being they always ask the same questions, right? And I loved your use of metaphor and how you used metaphor and this very descriptive language, right? This imagery to carry us through this journey of the poet's process, right? So dealing with these external factors, right? The they who always ask questions, and then how internally you're responding to those people who always ask those questions, and then how you as a poet are redirecting and representing yourself back out to the world in this process, right? And it's a continuous struggle, right? We see that. Even when you reach the summit, you're still wondering, what challenges still are out there before me, right? So I really appreciated that message, and wonderful job. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I really like that you don't just perform using your words or just gestures. You do it with your whole body. And also, you do such an amazing job projecting through the mask. I would be struggling. Y'all hear me gasping so I really, even from the last show, just the way your voice picks up so well and that intentional job of projecting. I like the fact that you use the elements of writing to your favor. So you have a clear beginning, middle, and end, and you make sure that the climax is the climax and then bring it right back down. But you also do a good job with your words and your emotions matching those words that you get that you're going on a journey. So thank you.
Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Haley. In the words of a Philly legend, crucial poet, gonna keep it moving, keep it grooving, keep it flowing, keep it going. On deck, we have Free Will. But coming up to the mic next, give it up for Lil Rock.
How y'all doing? My name is Lil Rock. I'm from South Philadelphia. Before I perform this piece, it's like a picture in my mind or how I think, how I see stuff. Sure. All right. Imagine when you dying, bleeding on the floor. Red rum, yeah, that's a murder. It's a killer war. Teddy bear, the last place he died at the store. Innocent, that's what she told you. She a carnivore. Vacuum sealed a bag of built up anger. They tryna kill some. Yeah, cuz died checking on his mom. She can't feel nothing. I don't even know what's going on. This shit won't end. A dead man count as a win. Hurt inside, bumped the rug, he took it all on the chin. Keep up with your craft, though fiends told me this. I get in my feelings, pour a long lived trench. Best way to do it, never show them niggas shit. Flex on yourself, it be the close ones that clip you. Me and bro got in the argument, he insta-dissed me. Niggas act like it was size to pick. They want homies from the P that I ain't rocking with. I don't give a fuck how big the situation was, the options flip. Little shit make me normalize when Melly dead. Coincidence, he watched the streets, his dad and brother dead. Good at sports, shot his late, no cussing that. They sent that bliss, they hit the window like a gas tank. They left him F with blood out his neck. 18 dead in the streets, I see a lot of that. Homicide detectives can't, but they ain't stopping that. But they ain't stopping that. Yeah. Imagine when you dying, bleeding on the floor. Red rum, yeah, that's a murder. It's a killer war. Teddy bear, the last place he died at the store. Innocent, that's what she told you. She a carnivore. Yeah, no ACGs or condition gear. Jumped in that water, almost drowned. She left me riding there. Even though that meant the most to me, I text back, I don't care. I like how she don't lie to me. She need me, I'm still there. I know a nigga did a ditch, he got shot down like a dare. Bullets hit your teeth and knock them out, they the too fair. Yeah, prime example why you shouldn't play with them. Prime example why you shouldn't play with them. That's all I got. Thanks.
You made something so whimsical and fairy tale like, just so haunting to my memory. You said bullets hit your teeth. Now you can call him the Tooth Fairy? Yeah. Oh my God! Just don't say yeah like I just do this.
No, that's just like a perception of what I see.
Yeah, I get it. It's a great image. Like, I love when people do something where they change something that we already really familiar with and then try to own it as they are. So it's like this really bridging of understanding to getting to know. And I think you did that really well in your poem. But let's see what the judges think as well. So we're going to start off with Dr. Thomas.
Yes. Amazing lyrics. It was haunting, as you stated, and I love the fact that you memorized it as well too. So it allowed you to flow even more. You painted a picture, and literally, what I wanted to do as I was listening to you is hear more, and actually sit down and speak with you about why this.
I had more, but I ain't know. I wasn't paying attention to the time. So
That's fine. It's all good. I mean, you weren't paying attention to the time because you were paying attention to your art, and I think that's what's most important for us. But again, it makes me want to learn more, not only about why you wrote what you wrote, but who you are. So amazing job, sir.
Thanks.
Dr. Myers.
Yeah, Lil Rock, like I remember when we saw you first perform at the Northeast Regional Center, and I said this then and I'll say it again today, and you just have a really wonderful musicality to your voice. You have a great flow. You also have a good sense of the kind of cadence that you want to deliver, right? As you're, spitting your lyrics, and I really appreciate that. And then also, again, going back to what Lindo said and what Dr. Thomas also alluded to, the haunting quality of what you're talking about, And I know you started off giving us this context of, this is how I see stuff, this is the picture that's painted in my mind. And you really take us along with you in terms of, of course you have great wordplay, great imagery, and so forth, but yeah, I think that for me, I'm captivated by listening to it. It's very deep. Everything that you're sharing is very deep. It's heart-wrenching, right? To picture the things that you have seen and that you're describing. You know what I mean? And I think that there were certain moments when I wished that maybe there were just a little bit of a pause, right, in your delivery, just to let something sink in. as you moved forward, so that they would touch us even more. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like maybe with your delivery, you might want to think about that, as far as like giving the audience some time to process what it is that you're saying, so it can really, really sink in. But wonderful piece, amazing, powerful.
I really like the melody of the piece. I like your flow. I like how you kind of use to keep yourself on track a little bit, so you didn't like go off of what cadence and flow that you were trying to keep. I really like, as everybody said, like how it's you get one idea, but then it's kind of haunting. You went from like, she says she innocent, but she a carnivore. It's just like the play on that line, but also like when you saying like this is how I see things also, and taking us along with you on that journey. I think you did a really good job, and I enjoy your bars. I enjoy your melodies, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
Definitely. I agree with that. The carnivore line stuck out to me too. I thought that was good. I also like the way that, again, the delivery, the cadence, the balance between the flow and the melody that you have in the natural delivery, I think was handled really well. And I also liked, like when you stumbled a bit, the way that you recovered and found that pocket again, right? And found that section. It shows that you were really engaged, that you were tapped in, that you were that you had it memorized, and that you also knew kind of how to control the space, right? Not let the space control you. So I appreciate that. Good work.
Thanks.
Y'all gotta lock in. That's it. Y'all gotta lock in. We about to come hard after this. If all my promotion go right, we about to lock in. And I got some more stuff.
On deck, we have PK Joey. Coming to the stage now, we have Free Will. Let me bring this mic up. This is what happens when you have a height disadvantage of the world. Here we go. You got it?
Yeah, that should be good.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, man. All right, what's up, everyone? I go by the name Free Will. It's a pleasure to be here. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. So I'm going to do something that I wrote for my mom. So I hope that y'all enjoy it. Through the pain and the lies, you always stayed by my side. Help me realize the love that I had inside. Through cloudy nights with stormy skies, told me I could make it if I tried. Always reminded me, be thankful I'm alive. When I found out my mom had cancer, I broke down and wept. I wasn't even barely 10 years old, yet her cells rendered unstable from pesticides and chemicals. Thank God she's alive, 'cause mom's practically invincible. A born fighter, but strung tighter than a violin. Wondering why the child that was inside her so angry and violent. The fears that my mama felt over the years getting released now from my repentant tears. I never seen mama drunk off liquor or beers. Know the Christmas time her favorite time of the year. 'Cause she happiest when she got her family near. Hated how when she gave advice I pretend I didn't hear. Used to drink Everclear, my thoughts were never clear. Trying to find my footing, but it was never there. Mama got scared, I know life's not fair, but you kept me so close, feel like my growth got impaired. So now I'm trying to repair the cracks and broken shit that comes from smoking crack. And I know I can't take back all the shit that I did in the past, but I know that you care. Want you to know that I'm aware of the love you got for me, 'cause you were always right there. So I say my prayers. Learn devotion from you, but not 5 times a day like I'm supposed to do. Searching for the truth, but I got confused. Didn't know what to do, except drown in 151 proof. Just rum, no reason. Red rhymes and heart beating. Hurt me to see you hurting, 'cause I know you didn't deserve it. So I hurt myself and that just made it worse. But you believed in me when I had no one else. Always put me and my little brother first. For what it's worth, I hope you know I'ma work to achieve the dreams you instilled in me. Be the man I need to be. Show my appreciation for everything you ever did for me. Thank you.
Shout out to moms. Shout out to moms. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good.
All right. Well, let's see how the judges are feeling. We are starting back with Michelle. Dr. Myers.
Free Will, this was a really great piece. I also appreciated that this was a poem that you were dedicating to your mother. I also appreciated the vulnerability that you expressed in this poem, right? In terms of, you know, the hardship in terms of, you know, watching your mother, right, battling an illness and so forth, and then how you're responding in all of those ways. And so for taking us with you on that emotional journey, and, you know, being willing to be vulnerable in front of us, it takes a lot of courage. And so I just want to thank you for that. I did like, you know, how you moved from the song. So you had the opening song and then moving into your lyrics. You had great voice projection, right, as you were delivering your lines. I thought that, you know, maybe it's because this piece was more of an emotional piece for you than I've seen you than what I've seen you perform previously when we were out at the Career and Advanced Technology Center. I felt like there were moments where, I mean, listen, I'm guilty of being a performer, you know, a poet that also closes my eyes while I'm performing. I felt like you did that a lot more today than you did previously when we saw you out in West Philly, and I just, you know, wanted to make a note of that. I mean, you did make eye contact. I think that I just noticed that you weren't making as much as you had previously, but it still is a very powerful poem, and thank you so much for sharing it with us.
I could really appreciate the tone of this poem. It gave like, you know, back in the day, we listening to tunes and you get the chorus before it jump in, and then you, for example, Stan. It gave me the feeling of that, like the emotion though. I think that was what I picked up the most on in this poem for you, because every other time I did see you perform, you were connecting with the audience, but I think it was about your mom. It's a hard poem. It's very relatable. I can relate to your story. You had a fire line in there that I don't want to miss out on giving you props for. 151, just from no reason. I think you did a really good job at talking about something difficult, making it relatable, but also having some musicality to it where people can digest it. So thank you.
Absolutely. I think, again, I appreciated the transition as well from the song and the full commitment, right, to both the singing and the delivery, right? I think that really showed in terms of the cadence and also the confidence that you brought, right? So even though it was an emotional poem, it was a hard poem, you were here to deliver it, and I think you did a good job with that. I thought that the move from the cancer diagnosis to kind of the dance with alcohol came through as well, and I thought that was handled well. And again, the lines with alcohol weren't just about alcohol. They became kind of verbs, right? They became these action moments as well, and I thought that was handled well, so I appreciated the poem. Thank you.
Free Will. I like that smile, man. You captivated me today. Your delivery was as personal as your lyrics, right? And I think Dr. Myers hit on a great point relative to your eyes being closed. And while I agree with her that it would have been, you know, made it just as much powerful, if not more so, if you made greater connections, I could actually really understand why your eyes were closed, right? And it actually made me close my eyes. And I think I started feeling and seeing what it is you were saying. I love the vulnerability. I love the authenticity. And I love that it's about mom. Who doesn't like anything about a mom, right? I think it automatically is going to draw people in. Keep it up. It's an amazing, amazing job, an amazing delivery today.
I think it went pretty well. Like the judges said, I think I maybe could have worked on like some eye contact and stuff, but so it's a different room than last time, a little different. So I'm ready for a next round.
I also want to give, again, a shout out to our live studio audience for keeping the energy here. Let's give it up to yourselves as well. Yeah. And also, although not necessarily the most appropriate thing to follow a poem about mother's cancer and alcohol, we're working on getting the TV people, y'all can't understand this, but we're working on getting the air conditioning to not be as cold, because right now, due to the power of TV magic, you cannot see that my nipples are hard enough to cut through steel. So, with that being said, on deck we have Ava, but coming up next, give it up for PK Joey! Till he gets to the stage,
Hi, everyone. So this poem is called, Okay, Truth Is I Hate Superman. Imagine if you had superpowers. Who would you be? Who would you save? Who would you need? Who would you slave? See, you think you'd be a superhero, but be honest. Heroes are only in name. Same ones talking about with great power comes great responsibilities. With rape and scour, with great malice. When these same people talking about justice this and justice that just exist to wreak havoc, why do you think they got alter egos? I believe it's so the super is separate from hero or villain. If you had superpowers, who would you save? Is everyone included? Even the worst of the worst? Aha, I knew it. You'd be the first to save your loved ones, your family, your friends, but if it was mine tied to the tracks, you'd both be flying away. Them to another life, you to another day. Oh, look, it's a bird, it's a plane with a bomb contained in it. Oh, shit, it's us that it's after. Why is that? Because super people fight wars. And whoever wins is the hero. And whoever loses goes down in history as villains. They couldn't be saved, so they had to be killed in a heroic way. If you had superpowers, who would you need? Every superhero is a hero because they bleed, right? I mean, even if they are indestructible, they can still feel the need to be saved. Every villain is a villain because the good was rarely paid. Every nigga is a nigga because our comic books needed fight words. I've heard them all. Wham, pow, bam, zoom, zap. Boy, bitch, click, clack, and boom. And because of those sound effects, I changed my costume. Mask on, fuck it, I'll never take it off. Who you think becomes the villain once I do? Whose secret identity would turn breaking news? No more theme songs. Na 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 na. Black man, you should save yourself because ain't no one gonna save you. But if tables turn and you had superpowers, who would you slave? For gods or worship, and men obey. So what are your orders? What do you say we do with the weak? Should we make them love us or give them peace? If you had superpowers, who would you be?
PK Joey with the blur energy. I appreciate that. I love black nerds. Shout out to us. Oh, man. I want to ask you the question because you asked this question to the audience and throughout the poem. What would your superpower be?
Probably like time control.
Time control?
Yeah.
Mine would be illusions. I've been thinking about this for a minute. All right, so we connected over comic books and superpowers, but let's see. Do you have the superpowers to weigh over the judges today? We're going to start off with Alicia.
You didn't ask me what mine would be, but telepathy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So anyway,
Black women matter. Go ahead.
No, I'm
Alicia.
joking.
What's your superpower?
PK Joey, I could really appreciate the fact that I feel like you went home and did some homework. I think that you took some of the comments from the judges from the audition shows and tried to bring them over into your performance today. I noticed that although you were reading, you were being adamant about giving eye contact. And I think that you took a poem and a topic where it's something that we, kids and adults, we like superheroes, but you made it real. You kind of, it was some dark humor in there that I could appreciate, and you also took, you were playing with the onomatopoeia that we usually see in comics and like, yeah, this is what y'all see, but this is what it really is. So I like that contrast throughout the whole poem, and it was well written and carried out through your entire poem, that the message that you were trying to portray, it carried throughout the whole piece. So I think you did a really good job at writing and constructing this poem and also doing your homework to give us some eye contact. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I also like the play on the fight words, the onomatopoeia, that was connected to like reality, right? Connected to the way that the world shows up as you experience it, right? I also thought that really getting down and questioning like what makes a hero, what makes a person, heroic, but also the challenges that a person would have if they actually were in that position, right? So I appreciated the questioning in the piece as well. And again, I thought the poem was really well constructed. I thought that the language and the wordplay worked out really well. So thank you.
PK, how you feeling? You feel good? You look great, man. It was an amazing delivery. I am still asking myself several of the questions that you asked us in the poem, right? And one thing that I think was super duper sobering is you said if you had superpowers, who would you need, right? Like, and that I think should make everybody pause, and because most folks think that superheroes don't need anybody, right? Because they've got superpowers. But I think with that line, you brought it back to humanity, and the fact that there's a common thread between everybody, and I think it really, really served to anchor us as the audience in being able to think with you and to flow with you through the entire delivery. So great job, sir.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of something that Dr. Thomas just said, because really humanizing this concept of what does it mean to be a superhero and the juxtaposition throughout the piece of just what does it mean to be a superhero, and then to be a hero, superhero, anti-hero, right, villain, like what is it? And there's the blurring of the lines in between, right? Because as a human being and being a multifaceted human being, right, we can be all of these things in any single moment, any given moment, depending on the situation or whatever it is that we might be going through, right? Our emotional reality, our physical reality, our, mental reality, our spiritual reality, right? All of these things, and being complex human beings, and then taking that to this concept of the superhero, I think is very interesting. One of the lines that stood out to me was, in terms of this theme or this message of, humanizing the idea of the superhero, a line that you had was, every superhero is a hero because they bleed, right? And I wrote that down because I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it really calls into question, like, what does that really mean? Like, what does it mean to be a superhero? We're not, impenetrable, right? We're not indestructible, right? And so forth and so on, especially if we're talking about, the real world and people that we look to or want to have, to look to as being superheroes. I thought your pacing was good. I agree with Alicia. I think that you took notes, right? You remembered what it was that we had said when we saw you at the Northeast, and I saw you apply it today. You did a great job. You're welcome.
I feel good. I kind of had to pee at while I was doing the poetry, so that kind of added on to it, I guess. But I feel okay.
I love that about poetry, where we can bring so many art forms together and have these like great conversations about like how do they apply to life. Because like we got these stereotypes of just like the strong black woman, but what do they need to be supported? God, I can have a conversation about that poem for at least another hour, but we have more poets to come up that's going to be just as thought-provoking and add more to the conversation we're having here. So on deck, we have Black Cancer, but coming to the stage now, we have Ava. That does. I feel like everybody's taller than me today. Let me see how that's Is that good?
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. My name's Ava, just Ava, and this piece is called Conversations by the Water. I'm talking to you, but I don't know if you're listening. You're responding, sure. The movements of your mouth glistening like lips in the sunshine reminiscent of lapping waves. You're responding to me, yes, but are you listening? I hear the plosive sounds of your speech, the cracking and popping of your words. I hear your sounds from your lips and your teeth. You speak to me, mouth flapping like wings of a bird, but you seem to fly north this time of year. Why do you do so? I know you're used to the shiver down your spine, the crunch beneath your feet, but you can't feel your toes. And the snow blinds. You can't see where you're going. Or can you? Is this about sight? Awareness? Is this about love? If I show you mine, will you show me yours? Love me like the sea. Waves lapping and crashing and collapsing into one another and swaying and easing, like breathing, like needing each other to breathe, like, wait, that's codependency, but like adolescent emotions in a one-off laser beam, like a ill-made sweater hanging on by one seam, like a lonely child encapsulated in their daydream, like love me like I'd love you. Tag team on the same team, like reciprocity shared, two minds on one thing and two souls on one string and one song we both sing and two hearts on one thing, yes. Yes, we already established that the cold is what you prefer, but it's not what you need. So don't speak to me, darling. Talk with me.
We're going for Ava. How you feeling?
Feeling a little looser.
Feeling a little loose? All right. Hey, that shit was beautiful, son. All right, we're gonna start off with Professor Torres.
Yeah, I thought the delivery, stage presence was on point. The eye contact to the audience, also to the judges, I thought reflected the confidence that you had in the piece, and that came across well. I appreciated all of the earth metaphors, from the snow to the temperature to the waves, right? All of those things I think were handled really well. And then I also like the way that you kind of strung together lines, like the lines kind of worked like a needle, right, and thread. So I appreciated that. I thought that was done well. Yeah, overall, like I said, really solid poem. And it, again, it seems like something that you had confidence and, faith in. So that came through. Thank you.
Ava. Amazing job. So everything that Professor Sanchez said and some, your delivery was amazing. It was authentic. It was captivating. It was natural. And I think the natural delivery only further complemented the play on words and you looking at the relationship through the lens of nature and the earth, right? Because relationships are natural. And I have to say, it's the perfect poem to hear on a Friday right before date night, because I was about to pick up my phone and text somebody and say, yo, what you doing tonight? Let's go out. Excellent poem. Amazing. Thank you. I'm keeping it real.
Ava, when we saw you at the Career and Advanced Technology Center, didn't we call you the Quiet Storm? Isn't that what we called you? And you did it again tonight, okay, or this afternoon. You did it again. I mean, you catch us off guard because you have this soothing, very quiet voice, and you start off, right, the very first line is so quiet, but it's not in a tentative way, right? So like what Professor Torres was saying, like you have this confidence about you, you know what I mean? Like even though you're delivering these lines in a way where you're, it seems like you're talking to us in a way where you're demanding our attention, but you're not doing it in a way where you're demanding our attention. Do you understand the point that I'm trying to make? And that's very masterful, to be able to deliver your poem, right, in that way, right? So it shows a lot of control over your performance to be able to do that and to keep us as an audience engaged with you from the first line, to the very last line. To have that very quiet confidence. And so I really appreciate that about you as a performer of your poetry, okay? And then, just like what, my fellow judges have said, like the metaphors were really wonderful, the imagery was great too. You really, you painted this picture, and we were right there with you, right, through the descriptive language of your poetry. So well-written poem, very well performed, great job. You're welcome.
Like Michelle said, the imagery and descriptive language in your poem is really dope. I think you set up, you put us in a room. You put us in a room of a private conversation that we're not supposed to hear, but we hear the leaves crinkling. We can be in that moment with you. I really, really, really love your voice and the fact that you connect to the audience. You don't only connect to the audience, you connect to your poetry. So your movements are congruent with your words, and then you're connecting that back to the audience. And I can really appreciate that because it takes time to develop, and it shows that you put effort into your work, and then you come up and say, I want to put effort into the delivery of this as well. So thank you.
It went well. There were some parts that like I messed up a little bit on, but I just had to keep going, so.
We're actually about halfway through the first round. How's everyone feeling? Everyone still good? Yes, sir. Yes. We will knock the chills off your bones with some more fire coming to the mic. So, on deck we have Lady O, but give it up now for Black Cancer.
What's up, y'all? Damn, that was dead as shit. What's up, y'all? I feel like I go through that every season, damn near. Where I'm like, what's up with y'all? How you doing? So the crowd participation piece that I'm gonna do today is called Crack. Now, I've done this before in previous seasons where I point to y'all and I just need y'all to participate and say crack. So if I point at y'all, whatever direction, if I'm pointing, I need y'all to say, thank you. Shout out to God, shout out to my mom, shout out to my daughter, and all women. It's been so many women that I wanted, never confronted. The dumbest, you walk away and you wonder on how it could have been. You had your chance when eyes locked, but you were stuck. Mom, pop, sickle, riddle me this. Why you freeze, fumbled, and fall? She was eye candy knowing that you seen something you want. You could have mean something to her, but now you in her past, literally. You can't do diddly squat. Player points finna be dropped. Shit, better redeem yourself. Shit, everyone, they played a game of freestyling, so the speech is felt pleasurable. And what is not said is understood, legible. You better know how to keep the pace rolling, keep the interest rolling, smiles and laughter come from joking, and kindly bagging like some groceries. How you doing? What your aim is? What your aim is? I know mine's is the grub, but we get acquainted. It's all love, I ain't finna play with, but listen, baby, let me. How you doing? What your name is? Crack. What your aim is? I know mine's is the grub, but we get acquainted. It's all love, I ain't finna play with, but listen, baby, let me. To get your number, we could trip this summer. For now, it's dinner, luncheon, breakfast. Expect this, cause I can't do shit for women who don't have shit for nothing. Hardly want to live it up, man. Fuck out of here. Ain't no point in gigging from here. You just pay rent and want kids. Playing with little fuckheads, that be more boring. That's drawing like a picture function. You work hard, you should get you something. Not clothes or cars or kicks or nothing. Use your imagination. For I know you Paris waiting. The Eiffel Tower maybe. Then skip to another trip to get serenaded. Wine glass, the bubble bath, inside we splash and champagne. Get marinated. Film while we get laminated. This all came from a... Right. How you doing? What your name is? Crack. What your aim is? I know mine's is the... Grub, but we get acquainted. It's all love, I ain't finna play with, but listen, baby, let me. And your sex is addictive as that. Make my heart skep, even on tracks. I fiend for your bag, I cannot get it. I be evil and mad, you give my penis a blast. Low blow. Your machinery vax. Cleans what we leave on the bed, we leave it a mess. Bet the cleaning people even upset. Ironic that you still a diva that's fresh, but get down and dirty, pleasing with neck. I like you. Imagine if I wouldn't have knew that you was that. Cause you provide lucrative plans, numerous laughs, cracking jokes like we, cracking jokes, cracking jokes like we. Hold up, let me get it. Cracking jokes, cracking jokes like it's glass. Adventurous moments we have. Next week, yo, we headed to Flags to ready our bags when spring breaks with spring when it breaks it. Right. How you doing? What your name is? What your aim is? I know mine's is the. Thanks.
Give me some more slow. Oh my God, that was so brave, yo. I would have never dared to do a piece that, one, I got to play to the camera, but also like the audience as well. You got both engagement. What made you make that decision?
Cracking on girls.
So,
I'm serious. Cracking on girls, which is such a relatable topic, or cracking on anybody or whatever, and you go through that nervousness. So I was like, how many people have made a piece where they're actually talking to a girl and either being nervous or having butterflies or whatever? And it doesn't even have to be a girl, just a person that you're interested in. Yeah. You feel some type of way, you're always freestyling when you talk to an individual. So that's why I made the piece Crack.
So you named the piece Crack, but my interest in is like, what made you make the choice of just like having the audience be a part of the piece too and saying that one line, Crack?
Everybody. So I was brought up that everybody needs somebody. Someone needs someone. So when we're out here, we are looking to find that person. We're cracking on that person. So everybody cracks on somebody. A girl will say, a guy tried to crack on me.
I get it now.
A guy will say, a woman tried to crack on me, which doesn't happen too often. We're going to approach if you're an initiator, if you're aggressive. But yeah, hopefully I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. All right, we're going to start off with Dr. Thomas.
Man. Well, so let me just say this. Women always try to crack on me. So I don't know about you. No, I'm joking. We'll talk afterwards. Blake. An amazing job, an amazing delivery. It drew me in. I think it drew everyone in. I love the audience participation, right? And even when you went off, you didn't lose us. You did not lose us. I actually didn't know initially. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Right, yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I thought it was part of the flow. I love the play on words relative to crack, right? So cracking on a woman, in addition to that, but the addiction that you had with it. So I just loved all of that, right? And your delivery was phenomenal. You engaged everybody. Excellent job, sir.
Yes, I mean, I agree with Dr. Thomas. Really great delivery, right? You have such control. I think that for me, what I always am amazed by as far as your delivery is the way you throw your entire body into your performance. You know what I mean? From your facial expressions to your hand gestures, right? Even the vocal variation in delivering your lines. And also, as far as the flow, your flow, you have such an interesting flow. It's complex and constantly shifting, but we're able to follow along with you, right? Even when that cadence is complex and shifting, right? And that also reflects the complexity of your rhymes, right? So as you're transitioning from different rhymes and so forth, right? All of that is really amazing. And this was a great piece. It's a relatable topic, right? As Dr. Thomas is also reminding us, right? It's a relatable topic. It doesn't matter who we are, right? Challenges of relationships, right? And also getting caught up in the game, right? People playing games, trying to figure other people out, right? And so forth and so on. So it doesn't matter, like all walks of life, no matter who we are, right? We can relate to that particular topic. So thank you so much. It's a great piece. Mm-hmm.
I gotta say it. I really enjoyed the piece. I'm gonna get into that. I want you to be mindful of your time and your space because, as Dr. Thomas also said, we don't know when you mess up. And I feel like you were controlling this whole performance, but you rushed your last line. And I feel like you have so much wordplay. We need to hear that. Like, we need to catch everything and feel you throughout the whole performance. So you're not just like, let me get it out. I think that I like the way you flip stuff. So instead of saying the typical little fuck kids, I like that. I'm gonna start using that when I talk about people. I like the what's not said is understood line, and the down and dirty, that wordplay. I feel like it is relatable. I think that you made it fun and you made it playful, and that's why I could really enjoy it. And like Michelle also said, your whole body was in this performance. So it's not like you were just like spitting and moving your hands. You were moving your whole body and also giving eye contact and direct eye contact to each part of this audience. So good job.
Yeah, like you caught me from the very beginning, right? Like I was drawn in. I almost forgot I was judging for a second, which is a nice feeling. Again, I think that form follows function with this poem too. So I appreciate the call and the response between you and the lady, right? Is also what we're doing in the room at the same time, right? So I thought that was a really, not it wasn't clever. It was like a really solid way to like get us in that moment with you, you know. And then also, again, I think that what's interesting is that, like, even when you stumbled, like, all of us were right on the stage with you, right? Which, again, goes to the point about crowd control that I thought was handled really well. And, again, I echo what Dr. Myers said, where we really felt like even when the cadence shifted, we were right there with you, right? So I appreciated that as well. So great poem. Thank you.
Ventilate. Spoken word to me means ventilation, means tranquility, peace. When I say ventilation, venting more so than anything. Just letting it go, having an outlet to express yourself, to open up to others, or at least vocalize your ideas and your thoughts if you weren't able to get it out at that time. You know what I mean?
But coming on stage right now is Lady O. All right, okay. I'm gonna bring it up.
I think that's good. Sak passe tout moun. My name is Lady O, and I have a very special story to share with you. It is called A Story of Your Cosmic Journey. From water to sky, all the elements aligned. A light shining bright, a star child dancing, a star in the sky, shooting through the cosmos, collecting the minerals, the chemicals, the essence, amassing the knowledge of the multiverse. This being, they knew they were on a mission, for they had traveled 1,000 years, absorbing the pains, the joys, and the consciousness within the creatures of all dimensions. Beaming through the sky, they saw a beautiful but lonely planet on the verge of utter destruction. And it knew that in all the millennia, it had traveled alone, gathering divine celestial enlightenment for one sole purpose: to save the small blue planet, its creatures disillusioned to truth. For all they knew was chaos, war, starvation, oppression, poverty, and inequality, hate, greed, and gluttony. At last, it understood the purpose of its existence. It had to choose to descend from the higher ancestral plane, a star projecting angelic flames. Luminous they burn, the extraterrestrial connection slowly dimming, losing its deep cosmic kin. But fear did not cloud its judgment, for it knew through the collective soul's experience that on this day you would be born with the deep arcane understanding to change the world. Béni soit l'Éternel. Merci.
Just like I don't know, like you got that mystical arts, like that just the hoodoo sit, man. Let me, whoo, child, we can be here.
Come on down.
Come on down. All right, but let's give it to the judges, starting with Dr. Myers.
Well, first of all, Lady O, you look amazing. I mean, before you even say anything, you've already drawn the audience in, right? Because your entire presence, right? From the way that you decided to come here today, right? In terms of your clothing and everything, and then your posture, your whole body language, right? Very much goes, is aligned with that. And so we're drawn in before you even start. And of course, you call us into accountability, right, with the call and response. And I think that, what's really amazing to me now, having seen, this is my third poem, right, that I've seen you perform. And, you have this motif, this theme that carries forward through all of your poems, and that is the call to the individual to recognize their place among the collective, right? Ultimately, that is the message. And I think for me, this poem, I really enjoyed it so much because you start off with telling the story. Like last week was about injustice, right? Like recognize that these injustices are taking place and, you're being called to do something about. And this was similar, but it was also different because it's the journey of, because we don't really know exactly what you're talking about at first, right? But basically what it is the journey of a soul to be born, right? So going through the cosmos, right? And approaching planet Earth. And there's a little bit of a apocalyptic warning as well, right? In terms of the state of our planet and of humankind. But it's a call to humankind, right? It's a call to humankind to recognize that we as individuals come from a collective spiritual place. And when we are born as an individual, it's our responsibility in our life here that we've been given, that we've been blessed to be given here on this earth, to remember, right, our participation or our membership within that collective. And so I really appreciate that message. Wonderful job, very powerful poem.
I think that you're really great. You're not only a storyteller, but you're a griot in the sense that you use words that we all are, it's common words. You allow those words to stand on their own and hold their own power, but with the way you deliver it and the way you string your words together to make a whole, full concept, it gives it a deeper meaning. And I think you make us think a little bit more about, okay, I understand this, but what is the deeper meaning? And I think that's something very powerful that we can do with our words, because it takes what is common to you and expose you to something that you might not have thought about. I like that your voice always carries your performance. So like from the moment, as Michelle said, but from the moment that you speak, it's like I could listen to, this person speak all day and enlighten me and inform me. And I can appreciate that all your work has been informative and it's been a call to action. So thank you.
Yeah, I echo that. I think that the sonorous quality of your voice, right, the timbre is really well executed, right? Again, it feels like you're traveling the journey, and the storytelling really comes through. I appreciated that. I also thought that the way in which you kind of wove together, space, but also earth to give perspective was done really well. And then, again, kind of drawing those connections that you did. So I really appreciated the poem and the journey you took us on. Thank you.
Lady O, what's the O stand for, if you don't mind? Olivia, all right, I love it. So I want to underscore what all of my fellow judges said. Professor Torres really circled in on the voice, right? Like, I literally think you may have a future in radio, nighttime radio too. That's the type of voice that'll make everybody kind of chill out. But your look, your passion, every element of your story was artistically complex and creative, yet not too complex and not too creative for an individual who may not necessarily know about spoken word and that sort of thing. I think it was connecting enough to the commonality of our human experience to get everybody to understand it. And who can't love those glasses? Excellent job.
Give it up one more time for
My judgment on how my performance go is if my message was received. And without a doubt, it was received. I think people really enjoyed the little story that I told of your cosmic being. But honestly, it just like went by too quickly. I'm like, no, I want more. But I forgot this round too, so we're good. We're good.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, and all those who join us today, we have 3 more poets left in the first round. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Yes, sir. On deck, we have Nye 5, but coming up to the stage, we have Mar.
This is new. Swing said, back and forth on my swing. Legs heaving upward, gravity hoisting me up high, while the wind carries me into the sky. High into the stratosphere to sink into cotton white clouds, or to fade away into our thinning ozone layer. Back and forth, the breeze blowing fast behind me, soon letting me go, letting me fall back down to the ground as I re-enter the atmosphere with a crash, indent the pavement with my shoes. I feel young again. I hear laughter and running and crying, tears welling up in my eyes as kids would run through me, piercing through my misty body like a bullet. Back and forth. When was I allowed to have my fun? Why couldn't they see me? Why didn't they want to see me? And so I'd grip the chains circling my brain so tightly until my palms hurt. Before I'd push, setting off again into the blue sky like a rocket, I'd disappear, dissolving into Mother Nature's clear embrace with each swing. Back and forth, watching that street, watching those cars pass by, my mind drifting away to Neverland while my body clung to those swings.
You know, Mar, when I hear you reading, it's like I just feel like there's just like warm chai tea running through my body, and my cares are somewhere far away.
Oh.
But let's see what our judges have to say, starting with Alicia.
I really like the descriptive language that you use to describe something common and whimsical, such as swing, and then you kind of break that that nostalgia and go into like what's really. And I feel like your repetition was on point too, because each time it took us with you, and then that moment it breaks. It's like, oh shit. Oh, all right, I'm in here with you. I love your voice. I love these moments that you have where you look at us and you like it's like a whip, and it's so. But I think it's on point. It's so it matches the words. I really enjoy your poetry. I really enjoy your voice, and keep doing what you're doing.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I like the title, right? I like the refrain, back and forth. It feels like it grows and adjusts at every moment when we get new information from the poem. So I really appreciated that too. I like the idea of kind of like crashing into the ground and like making like an indentation, right? That sort of impact. I thought that moment was captured well as well. And again, I really appreciated the quality of your voice, the solid presence, right? And also, to keep us on the edge our seats, right? With the edge of the line in the poem, I thought was handled well. So thank you.
Mar. You look accomplished right there, and I'm loving this look. Excellent. I want to echo what my fellow judges said. I think probably the swing was everybody's favorite. You want to get on in the playground when you were a kid. It was definitely mine. I'm no longer a kid, but I still like to get on the swing. So I love the fact you took that everyday common experience and made it deeper than it really is, yet still kept it simplistic. And I think that's the way to draw any and everybody in. And also your voice, I think it was great. I love the fact that your tonality was even throughout, but there was still inflection at the right points where you needed to show inflection. So excellent job, sir.
I really love this poem. It's so well written, you know, and I think for me, yeah, I mean, the swing set, right, and the back and forth, but I think the important detail in this poem is that the speaker of the poem is on the swing set by themselves. And they're feeling invisible, and they're observing what's happening around them. And they're seeing people, they're seeing things happening and so forth. So they're surrounded by other people, but they themselves feel very alone. And it's like, you know, there's also this feeling that the reason why they're swinging back and forth is because they have no place else to go. That's why they're on the swing set. So it's a very deep poem, you know. Yeah, like definitely what Alicia said, like there's the nostalgia of that, but there's also there's this undercurrent of sadness in this poem, and I really felt it. Very powerful poem. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Give it up one more time for
I thought my performance was pretty good. I wanted to start with a more mellow piece before I got into the one I really wanted to present today, and the judges liked it, so I feel pretty confident about it.
2 more poets in the first round, but I want y'all to give it up like the first 2 poets in the round. So, on deck as the last poet in the first round is Naima, the self-love poet, but give it up right now for Nai Five.
Hey everybody, I go by Not 5, and I like to start by saying, this ain't no woke speech, this just what it sound like when you let your soul speak. Settling differences between myself and I, giving back to the world for all my selfish times, detoxing all my bullshit and mental sanitize, and sweeping up the dead weight I had to janitize. Fell so deep in love with you, I put my plans aside, but that was all a part of God's plan to see my plans arise. And that was all panning out from what I planned inside. Took the seeds that I got from the dirt, and then I planted mine. The strongest soldiers get the hardest wars. Smelling myself, almost forgot I was the shit until I fought it more. Even my farts got them sick. I ain't even got shit, cause when I shit, it's gonna feel like I just started war. Number 2, I'm trying to bomb on them. I'm really bomb on them. Niggas aiming low, that's when we rise on them. I stand on shit like I'm in 7 lines, work like I got 7 minds, then carry the weight like I got 7 spines. Cause all that bullshit get flushed, nigga. Made a habit of writing the hottest shit while rolling up a Dutch, nigga. I like balance in life, so I might let some shit slide, but not too much, nigga. I'm too much for some, not enough for others. I can't please them, but I still love them. Done broke bread with a couple of suckers, but that's cool, cause me painting the picture showed y'all true colors. I still wonder what made me blind to the role play. Niggas walking characters, I swear they can't even stay theyself for the whole day. Shifting with the pressure, easily influenced. Niggas been ain't have integrity, I just needed to prove it. Niggas been ain't with the best for me, they just wanted to use me, yeah, I know. Now let's see who could hold this shit the longest, Chicago. My comfort zone of God, don't make me summon Diablo. I'm cool with every number, I just prefer the 5 though, yeah. Thank y'all.
I always enjoy your opening line because it reminds me of like when DJs used to put the needle on a record and you hear that crackling sound, you knew the party was about to start. That's how I feel when you do that opening line, like, oh, this poem's about to get heated. Yeah. So how you feel first round?
Grateful. I feel good.
Okay. You look comfortable on stage. Do you feel comfortable?
I'll be nervous.
Everybody be nervous, but they be looking fine to me. All right, so we're gonna start off with our first judge to see how they feel. Professor.
Thank you. I love janitize. I love that word. Just like, like, again, it first it fits, but it's also creative and it's, it's fresh and it draws us in kind of immediately. Again, I appreciated the delivery, the presence up there. Definitely felt confident, felt, in control and that type of thing. So that was good. I like the use of language, and I really appreciate kind of that closing, connection rhyme scheme, right? So again, Chicago, Diablo, Fly, though, right? Like I like the sort of connecting syllables that way, and it ended, I think, right where it needed to, right? Because sometimes the hard part is figuring out where something should end, but you got it on that. So thank you. Appreciate it.
I want to echo everything Professor Torres said. I think it definitely felt confident. So I could not tell you were nervous. It was super authentic as well, too. Like, I loved the fact that I can see you literally thinking this way in general, right? Like, one of the things I wrote down, which is true, and I was like, yeah, she's right about that. That's so true around this, right? Like, you said people can't even stay themselves for the whole day. I'm like, hey, people fake. So I know you like drew me in on that, and I love that one. But again, that is so, I think, common. I think that's a common human experience, and being able to, I think, portray the common human experience and relay that through art and spoken word is something super duper powerful. You did an excellent job, and I love your swag.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of yours. 9-5. I think that you just have such a great flow. I agree with all of my fellow judges. I think that you come up here and you just ooze confidence. You know what I mean? Like as soon as you step to the mic, And I told you last week that I really enjoy, that little ritual that you have of saying, those, this ain't no whoop speech. This is how it sounds when the soul speak. And you do. You speak your soul, and to echo what Dr. Thomas just said, this poem is just, these lyrics are so filled with authenticity, and you trying to remain your true self, even when the world and other people, and even sometimes yourself, like with self-sabotage and so forth and so on, trying to knock you off of that, right? And you always trying to come back to center, and I really appreciate the message of that. And I also love how, like, as you're going through this and we see you go back and forth between, the way, like, internally how you are, reflecting on yourself and, trying to make those adjustments, right, check yourself and so forth and so on. And then you're recognizing how other people are coming at you and you're like, okay, I got to check them and then check myself and so forth. It's like through that message, you're trying to extricate yourself as well as remind us at the audience that we need to be extricated of the matrix, right? Like we're in this matrix and we have to recognize how we're being like tossed back and forth in that, and you give us the power because you show us the power that you are trying to exert over yourself to get out of the matrix, right? And so you kind of give us a blueprint for how we could do it too. So I love this piece. Thank you so much. Great job.
As everybody said, I just love the real behind what you say. Every time I've heard you spit so far, I feel like I'm in a challenge to see how many lines that I could write down because it was fire. So bear with me. God plans to see mine arise, smelling myself. I think I farted more. The humor behind it is hilarious, but then it's just like it's so creative and fun. Carrying a weight like I got 7 spines. Hold on. Can't please them, but I still love them. I felt that. I also feel like you then go back and be like, I broke bread with some stuff. We know those people who suckers that we can't please, but we still love them. And then don't make me summon Diablo. Just, you say so much in the amount of time. And that was only a few lines. I can't write everything down. I think I challenge myself every time you get up here and spit to try to write everything down. So my goal is to hear you after drop the mic so I could just enjoy listening to you and not just having to write so much down because I'm also a fan. So thank you.
I think my performance went good. I think it went very well. I got some real good feedback from the judges.
They was loving it. They said they were my fans. I like.
So we're down to our last poet, and me trying to adjust this mic. Hey, Marquise must be strong. How the fuck did he do this? I can't turn this shit off. Help me out real quick. Oh yeah, Marquise. When he
You
not,
turned it the wrong way.
no, I can do it. I normally able to do it this way. All right, cool. All right, okay. All right, so we're down to our last poet, and we have a feature poet afterwards, but right now, coming to the stage is Naima, the self-love poet. The self-love poet, self-love.
Okay, both of y'all, this is amazing. Domestic violence warning. Baby girl, I look at you sometimes and I'm truly amazed that God blessed me with you to spend the rest of my days. You won't hear these words until you're old enough to understand, but I want to explain to you how I lost everything because of a man. Your mom has been on her own since she was 15. No dad or mom around to give me what I need. I was in survival mode for so long, I forgot what it was like to laugh, but when you were shocked to see me smiling, I knew it was something I had to get past. I wanted to give you the life that I never had. So although I wasn't in love with him, I still married your dad. I never expected you to witness mommy being abused. I know in your young mind you must have been highly confused. We lived in a small apartment, but it was supposed to be safe. I never imagined home being that place that we needed to escape. Before I had you, I really didn't know what love is, so every time he messed up, I thought I was supposed to forgive. It wasn't until that day that I heard you scream that I knew I had to choose. He was having another tantrum and I didn't know what to do. You were hit in the face by something he had thrown around, so I scooped you in my arms and covered you with my body while his blows knocked me to the ground. It wasn't until I heard you say, "Mommy, he's gone," that I snapped back into reality. Right then, I knew I had to bring all of the strength out of me, because if I wasn't going to fight back for me, then I had to start fighting back for you. He was supposed to be the leader of our family, so we had nowhere else to run to. I knew if we were going to make it, I had to give it my all. Especially after you left us homeless without even a phone call. Looking into your eyes, I can see that you deserve so much better. So I made a vow to you and myself that never again will he and I be together. I didn't love myself enough. But I loved you more than life. You were the one who gave me the strength to finally stop being his wife. I try to never put down your dad around you. But I pray you understand why I had to choose. I didn't want you to grow up thinking love was supposed to hurt. I damn sure didn't want you to think that that was what you deserved. I was embarrassed to stand strong as your mom, knowing the man made me weak. But all of that changed when I listened to God speak. And God says, to give it all to him because he already has it worked out. And to be thankful for the things that we swore we wanted that did not work out. I'm raising you to be strong and so much better than me. But I'm starting with self-love because it was never taught to me, baby girl. I need you to know my story so you don't repeat it. Hold on to this love that I'm teaching you to have for yourself and make sure you keep it. I want you to shine and know it's okay to be exactly who you are. Don't change yourself for anybody because it won't get you far. I'm not telling you any of this so you can change the way you feel about your dad. Thinking about the way he treats you honestly makes me sad, but I find comfort in knowing his absence will do less damage than his demons could ever do. And I pray you never feel like you're missing out, because he's the one that's missing out on you.
Child. We sometimes you meet a poet that just like breathes fresh air in a room, and then sometimes you meet a poet that takes the air out of the room, and I feel like you did both today.
Thank you.
And in the most positive, best way possible. But let's see how the judges feel.
Starting off with Dr. Thomas.
Naima, that was amazingly powerful. It was authentic. It was painful, yet beautiful. You took us through the entire journey, and you ended with hope. And you ended with hope not only for the audience and for yourself, but for your child. Your delivery was powerful. It engaged everybody in the room. And honestly, I want to find your ex and kick his ass because that's how engaging you were today. I want to encourage you to continue to speak from your heart and your experiences because it gathers others in the room who have similar experiences and makes them understand that they're not alone. You did an excellent job.
Yes, I agree with Dr. Thomas. Powerful delivery, powerful. I mean, just everything. You committed your entire body to performing this piece, right? And this piece, it's not just a poem, right? Like, it's so much more meaningful than that. It's so honest, again, like, expressing vulnerability in this poem, right? You definitely kept the audience involved through the passion, right? The passion, and, I'm gonna start getting emotional. A mother talking to her daughter, right? And sharing that story. And not only in terms of, sharing that story because it's not just in terms of a cautionary tale, but also, in terms of trying to put an end to generational trauma, right? And so that's where that hope comes in, right? And so it's such a powerful piece. The other thing that I just wanted to say to you, and I'm not sure if if you read Langston Hughes or anything like that, but, it does remind me of, his poem, Mother to Son, Life Ain't No Crystal Stair, right? Except this is directed to a daughter, right? And I also found that to be very, very powerful, right? To think about those two pieces, right? In my own head as you were delivering this poem. Yes, just very powerful, very moving. And thank you so much for sharing with us today.
One of the things that I really like about you is when you get up on stage, I've always been taught, like, we claim our space when we get up and perform. I think that you this is my space, this is my purpose. I think there's so much purpose in what you say and how you deliver your poetry. I think you have certain lines that are, it make you stand still and think. Not just based off of what it is, but also your delivery. And there's so much power in your delivery. I think you being Naima, the self-love poet, your poetry comes across as like a sermon to love yourself first. And I think that is a voice that we need. No, really, that's that's a voice that we need in a world where people don't know how to love themselves first before they try to love somebody else. So I thank you for not only just living up to your name, but also writing amazing poetry to share with everybody who can grow and learn from you. So thank you.
Definitely. I echo what my fellow judges said, and I also think that the letter to your daughter really came through well. I thought that every part of the poem felt intentional, right? So not just the delivery, but also the craft of the poem, right? Every rhyme in the poem felt like kind of, when you get to the end of a Shakespeare couplet, right? Like at the end when the rhymes really work, right? Because other times they're there, but like all of the rhymes in this worked really well, and that's not something that's easy to achieve, right? And I also really did appreciate the emotion that you brought to the performance. It feels like not only did you rehearse this, but you really you're in it, like you live it each time you perform it. So it wouldn't matter if it was now or 2 o'clock, it would be the same. So I appreciate that ownership, so thank you.
It was a letter to my daughter. I'm a domestic violence survivor, not victim, but survivor. And it's basically trying to encourage my daughter not to follow in my footsteps and to choose better and do better.
All right, so that officially caps the end of our first round. And yeah,
I saw many people screw up their faces, many people snap, applause, and we hope you at the audience watching this on TV, felt inspired by the spoken word you heard today, because here at Drop the Mic, we try to leave everything on the stage and also make sure we pour our hearts out on the page. So this was our first episode of round 1. Please come back to round 2, because we want to thank our studio audience. Give yourself a round of applause.
I want to thank our amazing judges. Give it up for your judges. I want to thank my amazing co-host. Give it up for Lindo.
And I want to give it up for Marquise. And last but not least, we want to give it up for CCP TV.
So again, join us for our next episode where we will go through round 2 and decide a winner of Drop the Mic.
Thank you. We out.